Right now, you might have something you need to do. An application, a plan, a decision that's been sitting on your list for weeks. But instead of doing it, you keep going back to your bank balance. You check it, you run the numbers, you put your phone down, and then you pick it up and do it all over again. Nothing has changed, and somehow another hour has passed. If you've ever been there, what you're about to hear is going to explain something you've probably been blaming yourself for your whole life. Every year, sugarcane farmers in Tamil Nadu, India, go through the same cycle. For most of the year, money is tight. Then the harvest comes in, and for a few weeks, everything changes. In 2013, two researchers decided to study what that cycle was doing to their minds. Sendhil Mullainathan from Harvard and Eldar Shafir from Princeton gave those farmers a full battery of cognitive tests in intelligence, memory, problem-solving, and recorded everything. Then they waited 4 months and came back to test the same farmers again right after the harvest when the money had finally come in. The scores were dramatically different. Before the harvest, when money was short, those farmers performed as if they hadn't slept in a day. The gap between their two sets of scores was equivalent to losing 13 IQ points. And the only thing that had changed in their lives was the number in their bank accounts. What the researchers concluded was this: not having enough money doesn't just feel stressful. It actively takes up mental space in your brain, constantly and quietly, in the background of everything you try to do. They called it the bandwidth tax. Think of your mental capacity like storage on your phone. You have a certain amount available at any given time. When you're worried about money, that worry is running in the background, like an app that never closes, using up space you didn't know was being consumed, and the parts of your mind that lose access first are the parts you need most. What makes this especially hard to see is what it actually takes from you. Your memory still works. You can still get through your day. But thinking past this week, resisting the pull of decisions that feel good right now but hurt you later, stepping back and seeing your own situation clearly enough to know what needs to change, those things quietly disappear. And they happen to be exactly what you would need to find a way out. Here's what this actually looks like from the inside. You sit down to do something that matters. For a few seconds, you're focused. Then the number comes back into your head. You tell yourself you'll just check it once. You do. Nothing has changed. You put your phone down and try again. 20 minutes later, you're still on your phone, still running the same math, still arriving at the same answer you already knew. Psychologists call this tunneling. When your brain senses a problem it can't immediately fix, it locks its attention onto that problem and starts filtering out everything else. In the right situation, like a real emergency, this is exactly the right response. All of your mental energy zeroing in on the one thing that matters right now. But financial stress is not a quick emergency. It doesn't arrive for a moment and then leave. It stays day after day, the same problem never going away. And a brain locked onto something that never gets fixed keeps burning through its energy while going nowhere. You're thinking about money constantly, you're just not thinking about it in any way that actually moves you forward. And this is where it gets darker, because the tunnel doesn't just affect how you think, it changes what you choose. Research found that people under financial pressure consistently make decisions that feel like relief right now, but make things worse over time. They take out loans with brutal fees because the alternative feels impossible to imagine. They choose the smaller payment that ends up costing twice as much in the long run. Not because they can't understand the math, but because the tunnel has made everything past the next 2 weeks feel blurry and distant, almost like it's a problem for a future version of themselves. And that future version doesn't feel real right now. And here's what should concern you most. Someone had figured this out long before the researchers wrote a single paper about it. The companies that offer you quick cash when you're desperate don't accidentally set up in the neighborhoods where people are struggling most. They do so deliberately. They place their locations near cheap grocery stores and bus stops in the exact neighborhoods where money runs out before the next paycheck arrives. The fees they charge, some equivalent to 300 to 400% interest per year, are not a mistake. They are designed for a mind that can only see the next 2 weeks, because that is exactly the mind that will agree to almost anything for a little relief right now. Buy now, pay later works the same way. It's not built for people who are comfortable. It is built for the exact moment when you're already tight on money and you need something to feel okay today. None of this is random. The whole system is built around the fact that being broke puts your mind in a very specific state, and a mind in that state will reach for whatever is right in front of it. You were not making bad decisions. You were the predictable outcome of a system that was specifically designed to find you in that moment. But here's what changes when you zoom all the way out. For most of human history, not having enough wasn't a financial problem. It was a survival problem. Not enough food today meant you might not be alive tomorrow. And so the human brain developed an incredibly powerful response to scarcity. It narrowed your focus, blocked out anything that wasn't the immediate threat, and pushed you to act right now, because right now was all that mattered. That response is still in you. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a food shortage 10,000 years ago and an overdraft this morning. It picks up the signal, not enough, and it responds the only way it knows how, with everything it has, which leaves nothing for the way out. This isn't a character flaw. It isn't laziness or a lack of drive. It is ancient survival wiring running on a problem it was never built to handle. And this is why almost all financial advice misses the point completely. It assumes the person hearing it has a clear head. It assumes you have full access to your long-term thinking, your patience, your ability to weigh options and make calm decisions. But the pressure hits hardest exactly when the stakes are highest. When you most need a clear head, that pressure has already taken most of it. Telling someone in that state to just make smarter choices isn't advice. It is handing a drowning person a guide on how to swim. Being broke is not a discipline problem. It is not a knowledge problem. It is a mental energy problem. The pressure of not having enough quietly uses up the thinking you would need to change your situation and then makes it look from the outside and from the inside like you just didn't try hard enough. The reason it keeps going through years, through families, through whole generations, isn't that people don't try hard enough. It's that no one ever told them what was being taken from them. Being broke costs more than money. It costs the version of yourself who had enough mental space to find the way out.